dear friends. I am happy to start this discussion that the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce is organizing with the cooperation, as you know, of SEV and others, is the series of events that want to promote the understanding and the connection and the cooperation between Greek and African entrepreneurs. Zambia is a country which I had the pleasure to visit twice some years ago, and actually in both cases I met President Kaunda those days. Zambia became quite last summer because of the elections and the democratic transfer of power. And this is very important element for stability and for the confidence also of the entrepreneurs and for the economy. I know that COVID-19 has created problems in the economy of Zambia, as it has also done in Greece. But we hope that with vaccination and other efforts, soon life will come back as it used to be, even better. Today, I will ask from the side of some friends to give a short welcome. And after that, we will hear personalities from Zambia who are in the government or the private sector. The Secretary General of Hellenic African Chamber, Mr. Maniatakis, is also with us, as is Director, Mrs. Jenny Zacharaki. I will ask first the first Secretary of the Economic and Commercial Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Greece, Mr. Christos Grivas, for a few comments about our meeting. Mr. Grivas.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to participate today in this important business forum. I would like to congratulate the President as well as all the people of the Greek African Chamber of Commerce for organizing it. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we steadily support your initiatives and we are ready to listen to your proposals for future projects. And now it is the perfect timing as our country is on a steady growth path and is rebounding strongly. Just to mention that some days ago, the European Commission considerably raised its forecast for Greek growth this year to 7.1% compared to its previous estimate of 4.3% and the government's latest projection for 6.1%. This is a very promising sign, which indicates that the Greek economy is gaining traction and momentum to go forward. Greece has a long history of close relations with African countries, which we currently look forward to enhancing and deepening. In fact, Zambia presents great potential for business and trade cooperation. The bilateral trade between Greece and Zambia can be improved significantly since the potential in specific sectors is very strong. Our bilateral trade relations have remained steady over the last few years, but there is significant room for improvement and diversification. Bilateral cooperation can be promoted in a wide spectrum of areas, from infrastructure and energy to agriculture and even tourism. Our companies have significant experience in projects all over the world, including African countries, can assist in the development of all types of urban and rural projects in Zambia. Forging synergies with local companies and exchanging expertise and best practices shall pave the way for positive results to the benefit of the local communities and to the benefit of the people. The crucial factor in exploiting the potential for economic cooperation is the establishment of communication channels between Greek companies and their counterparts in Zambia. We therefore encourage and actively support initiatives like today's Business Forum. In addition, the presence in Lusaka of major Greek companies from the sectors of pharmaceuticals, food products, plastics, infrastructure development, and wastewater treatment is an excellent opportunity to actively explore business opportunities. In this framework, Greece can also contribute its expertise in the development of the agricultural sector in Zambia. The primary sector in Greece has traditionally proved of pivotal importance for our economy, especially with regards to the welfare of our rural areas. Renewable energy sources, sustainable farming, and aquaculture are only indicative areas of potential cooperation. In particular, the energy sector is an area where mutual synergies could develop. I am confident that Greek experience could be a valuable component for developing new projects or for upgrading existing power networks in Zambia. I would also like to take this opportunity to mention that the business climate in Greece has become very favorable for potential investors. The policy changes that have taken place over the past years, coupled with the decisive implementation of reforms and privatizations, have rendered Greece an attractive place to invest and provide opportunities for expanding the activities of businesses in both goods and services sectors. I know the challenges that business owners face, and I believe that Greek and Zambian companies working together are well placed to face the challenges of trading and investing in the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Κύριε Μουσούρη, το μικρόφωνο σας είναι κλειστό.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. It is important that the Greek government has given special attention to Africa in recent times, and the effort for export and foreign investment has intensified. Already, foreign minister has visited 2 African countries, and I also want to say that we have added a new embassy of Greece in West Africa, in Dakar, for Senegal and the French-speaking African countries, and more of Africa will be in the agenda of Greek business. And that's why now I give the floor to Ms. Vicky Makrigiani, who is Senior Advisor and of the Hellenic Federation of Enterprises, of SEV, as we call it in Greek. Ms. Makrigiani.
Your Excellencies, dear Mr. Moussouris, dear Mr. Maniatakis, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, dear friends, because I see many people that I know and I have worked together, and I'm really happy about that. So on behalf of SEV, the Hellenic Federation of Enterprises, I would like to thank the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development, our partner, as we say, in Sub-Saharan Africa, for hosting today's information meeting on the business opportunities in Zambia. This event comes exactly 2 years after our business mission in Zambia, which was scheduled in November 2019. May I remind you that during that visit, 11 Greek companies from the sectors of construction, energy, food, building materials, pharma, and services had the chance to make more than 100 B2B meetings in Lusaka and Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Also, during our visit in Zambia, we had the chance to sign an MOU with ZAXI, represented today and signatory party during the visit by Mr. Chabuka Kawesha. We have to observe, I would like to say that we continue to see this MOU as a further step for meaningful business partnerships between our two countries. SEV, Hellenic Federation of Enterprises, is the largest business network in Greece and plays a leading role in the country's transformation into a productive, outward-looking and competitive economy. We have a broad membership, including the largest corporations in Greece. SEV is constantly working to expand trade and commercial ties with our business partners around the world, and the same, of course, applies to Zambia. Today's event aims to further promote trade and business relationship with Zambia and to strengthen the relationship which is already in place. After many years of significant socioeconomic progress and achieving middle income status, Zambia's economic performance is doing well. Strong performance of services, substantial mineral wealth, and untapped resources in agriculture, hydropower, and tourism. These are positive developments and, of course, offer excellent perspectives for growth. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in times where the boundaries between people are overwhelmed by our connections. So do not see our countries and people as a world apart. What is more, the Greek community in Zambia enhances our ties and our relations over there. So the foundations of our relations are strong and are here. Thank you once again to our host, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Makariani. It is important that we have next to us and the support of Hellenic Federation of Enterprises. And in the future, we'll continue, and together we'll organize also business missions to African countries, when, of course, the health weather improves. Now, the next speaker, the next one who will greet this meeting is Mr. Nikos Vassiliou. In his dual capacity, he is a member of the board of Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development, and also member of the executive board and responsible for international relations of ACCI. Mr. Vassiliou. Your microphone, Mr. Vassiliou.
Okay. Kalespera, good afternoon. Dear President, dear guests, in my capacity as member of the Executive Board and responsible for the national relations of African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and would like to welcome you to this virtual conference and thank you for your participation. This event is organized by the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development under the ACCI 7 aims at highlighting new opportunities for business cooperation between Greece and Zambia. We, as the Chamber, maintain excellent relations with the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development, and we all hope that this event will have positive result for both countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the ACCI is the leading chamber in Greece with over 8,000 active members, representing the whole spectrum of the enterprises. A principal conference of our chamber is to enhance the extrovert character of Greek companies during the difficult period due to the effect of the COVID-19. During all these years, ACCI has contributed positively and dynamically towards this, and by offering tangible proposal to the Greek government for the improvement of the business and social environment. Concerning our economic relations with Zambia, the bilateral economic cooperation is lagging behind to the potential of our countries, with the volume of the trade to be extremely low. The trade balance between our countries is a negative for Greece. will mainly export to Zambia pumps, forms, liquids, and props, while it will mainly import refined copper. However, there are many sectors that present interested and both countries can't focus on. Ladies and gentlemen, our chamber, as the biggest chamber in Greece, will continue to support the effort of developing our economic relations towards the mutual benefit of our countries. Once again, I would like to thank you for all your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vassiliou. And now I have the pleasure to give the floor to the Executive Vice President of SEVE. And I wish to ask him also to tell us what the initials stand for. I know in Greek, but in English, the SEVE. Mr. Hassapis, with whom we are together a few weeks ago in another meeting. Kyrios Hassapis.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for attending today's conference in which we will explore Zambia's prospects. And more specifically, I would like to thank the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development, Mr. Moussouris, Mr. Maniatakis, and my dear friend Yannis Kourkoutas for the invitation to be co-hosting the interesting event. And I'm very happy also to see many familiar faces with whom we have collaborated and visited sub-Saharan countries. A major part of SEVE, SEVE is the Greek Exporters Association. A major part of SEVE's activities is to identify and explore new markets and then assist exporting companies in starting or expanding their business there. As such, today we're delighted to organize this event with the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development, SEVE, and the Athens Chamber of Commerce and Industry, because we all know that Africa, and more specifically the sub-Saharan part, is said to be the next big thing in business. Forecasts are claiming a strong rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic, reaching 3.3% growth in 2021 and another additional 3.5% growth in 2022. And it's very widely known that the world's largest economies such as China, US, UK, and India already have a strong presence in the continent because of its importance and the geostrategic and business environment. As such, we must all act accordingly and boost cooperation with our African counterparts. In addition to the above, I would like to mention that SEVE, we are the largest, the biggest exports association in Greece, numbering approximately 700 members of a turnover of approximately 17 billion euros, representing 50% of total Greek exports and 60,000 employees, has always been interested in the region. In this way, we held two events for the sub-Saharan region in March 2015 and July 2019. And furthermore, in 2019, we organized a business forum together with our partners in Zambia and Tanzania. Before that, in 2018, Nigeria, with great success, and we look forward to organize with our partners another one, of course, given the sufficient opportunities. Greek exports to Africa increased by 11.5% the past 10 years, and by 32.5% in Zambia, more specifically. However, the total amount of the bilateral trade is insignificant compared to the cooperation prospects. And this is an opportunity, and cooperation must be boosted in the context of the mutual benefit. Africa's and Zambia's prospects are very huge, and this is why we're here, trying to find cooperation patterns, identify promising markets, and explore new opportunities. and hoping that everything that is going to be presented will be helpful and fruitful for you. I would like to thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hasabi. Mr. Hasabi is situated in Thessaloniki, which is the second city of Greece. You heard speakers from Greece who told you what they think about Zambia and how they would like to strengthen the relations between their companies and their associations with the country, which has played very important role several times in African history. I was a witness when I was director of the Center Against Apartheid in New York, the United Nations. And I came first to Lusaka, and I had a contact with visit President Kaunda. Came to thank him for his frontline role. He was a frontline in the fight for freedom of South Africa. And of course, many Greeks have been to Zambia, visiting the Victoria Falls and enjoying the beauties of the country, which I had the privilege to see some of them. So we are ready. We would like to be closer to Zambia. And we are also ready to, from our side, to help as much as we can for the development of the country. One possibility is that we can do that through the European Commission. We are members of the European Business Council for Africa, and I'm glad to see the Secretary General, Mr. Spahis, to attend this meeting. Mr. Spahis happens to be Greek also, and Mr. Makris also is director of the office. The European Business Council for Africa is a channel of the private sector to the European Commission. We express our interests, our problems, our proposals, and we are also quite active in EPCAM, in the business and Europe, between Africa and Europe business meetings, which will take place soon in Brussels. Now, I have the pleasure to turn to a half Greek, a lady who is living in Greece, and she's very popular in our country, Mrs. Rose Healy, Honorary Consul of Zambia and Greece. You have the floor, Rose.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Kalispera σας. It gives me immense pleasure to start this auspicious occasion by heartily welcoming everyone who has taken time off to be here with us today. Over the past 4 years, in my role as Honorary Consul here in the Hellenic Republic, I have seen my fair share of trials and tribulations, and I hope today, as we are here to view and discuss business opportunities in Zambia, we can resolve some of these trials. Building economic relations or bridges from one continent to another is not always so simple. The culture of business is not always easy, nor is it the same. As we enter into discussions, I would like to assure everyone that Zambia is in a new dawn, opening its gates for economic development with vast opportunities. With this being said, I would like to go ahead and thank Dr. Sotiris Mouzouris, the president of the Hellenic Association, the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development, for his efforts in consistently connecting Africa to the Hellenic Republic. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Mr. Christos Grivas, the first Secretary of the Economic and Commercial Affairs in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time. A special thanks to Mr. John Kopitas, who is not only the Secretary to the Consulate of Zambia, but also the Managing Director of Mr. Export to Africa. I truly thank you for your tireless efforts. Without taking more of your time, I would also like to acknowledge my good friend and colleague, Mr. Michael Krupnik, Consul General of the Hellenic Republic in Zambia. Also, I welcome my Zambian counterpart, Mr. Jerome Chabuka Kawesa, President of the Zambian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Chairman of the Zambian Private Sector Alliance. Of course, I've saved the last for best, the best for last. Ms. Jenny Zachari, the Director of the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Ms. Zachari has been very instrumental in the coordination and management of this event and many others. So please, let's give her a hand. I appreciate and thank everyone who has put efforts towards the success of this event. And I'm hoping that after today, we can open the roads and economic bridges between Zambia and Greece. It's been a custom of Zambia importing things from Greece or from around the world. But now we want to, also Zambia has got valuables that they can export. I'm not talking about the usual, the copper, the emeralds and everything. There's so many other things that Zambia can bring to the Europes or to the continent, outside the continent.
We have an embassy in Greece. Who's this?
We have a consulate office in Greece. Our embassy is located in Rome.
Yes, thank you very much, Rose. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you in our office soon to discuss more detail
Definitely.
the discussion, the result of this meeting.
Definitely.
Now, that was the time of greetings from the side of Greece. Now we have turned south and we're going to Zambia in order to go to the, let's say, the main dish, which is exactly what is happening in Zambia and what the officials, either government or business, see as possibilities of trade and investment between Greece and Zambia. What are the sectors and what is the environment and what is their advice and the proposals of how to strengthen these relations between Greece and Zambia. I have as a first speaker the president of the Zambia Chambers of Commerce and Industry and chairman of Zambia Private Sector Alliance, ZPSA, Mr. Jerome Chabuka Kawesa, and there will be three other officials, Mrs. Jessica Chombo, Mr. Samson Lovemore, and Mrs. Benji Muleya, who Investment Promotion Agency, who will answer questions at the end of the meeting. So, Mr. Kawesa, I hear that he is not right now with us, so I will move to the next speaker, Mr. Michael Krupnik, who is the Honorary Consul of Greece in Zambia and CEO of the MJK Consulting Services. I heard about Mr. Krupnik from Sevasmiotatos Ioanni and other Greeks from Zambia, and they think highly of him, and he represents our country in Zambia very well. So Mr. Krupnik has the floor.
Thank you for your kind words. Good afternoon to you all. Mulibwanje, as we say here in Zambia, Kalispera, as we say in Greece. It is indeed heartwarming, as previous speakers have said, to see a few familiar faces and of course new ones too. I am Michael or Michailis Krupnik. I'm born in Athens but grew up in Zambia. I am the Honorary Consul General of Greece in Zambia, and I run several of my family-owned businesses that have been around as far back as 30 years now. These businesses operate in the different fields of the economy, starting with retail, where we have Micmar Hardware. It's a chain of retail and B2B stores dealing in hardware and building materials. We have a real estate development company where we've developed and managed over 60,000 square meters of commercial properties. Manufacturing, where we have Kroopwood that manufactures doors, windows, flooring, and decking from local hardwoods such as rosewood antique, and Kroop Mining that manufactures LME-grade copper cathodes. I'm also involved in the microfinance sector where we finance SMEs across the country. And I sit on several boards such as the EU Zambia Business Council and the Zambia Property Owners Association, amongst others. So today, we're talking about why invest in Zambia. A colleague here rightly said today that Africa is the next big thing. And Zambia over the years has stood out as a good investment destination owing to its peaceful nature and thriving democracy. The change of government recently has added to this sentiment through a business-friendly policy approach, which I am sure will translate into higher inflows of much-needed investment, both from abroad and also locally. It is undisputable that Zambia competes favorably on the African market as an attractive investment destination. The country is richly endowed with natural resources across various sectors. For instance, agriculture is one area that offers a lot of investment opportunities, owing to a large fertile and arable land resource of approximately 42 million hectares, of which only 1.5 million hectares are cultivated every year. Just to put things in perspective, that's a few times bigger than the entire Greece. This coupled with good road infrastructure, affordable labor, and abundant water resources for irrigation, which account for about 30 to 40% of total water resource in the SADC region, truly puts Zambia at the top of the list in potentially being the breadbasket of the region and maybe even further. Mining is another interesting sector. The country prides itself in being the 7th largest copper producer in the world and 2nd in Africa, holding 6% of the world's known copper reserves. The Minister of Finance has recently committed to tripling this production level before 2030. In addition to this, Zambia also has substantial reserves of cobalt, gold, zinc, lead, manganese, iron ore, uranium, coal, diamonds, emeralds, the list can go on. Investors can also exploit the tourism sector, something very familiar to Greeks. As home of Victoria Falls, one of the 7 wonders of the world, the country has great untapped potential on other wildlife and nature sports too. The energy sector, a key priority I know in Europe, Greece, and recently globally, provides plenty of opportunities. Due to the ever-increasing demand for power, currently sitting at 3% growth per annum, and an overabundance of water resources, an estimated 6,000 megawatts of unexploited hydropower generation potential is at stake. The recent formation of the dedicated Ministry of Green Economy and Environment here in Zambia is also strong evidence of the emphasis that's been given to renewable energy, a sector that Greek industry can offer very much. Zambia has its challenges, as every other nation in the world. The unsustainable debt levels and fiscal indiscipline of recent years needs to be addressed by the new government. And so we hope that with the conclusion of the ongoing IMF talks, the country will be put on a path of not only recovery, but steady growth. I personally believe strongly in Zambia and its potential, as I do in the potential of Greek businesses to expand abroad into profitable markets such as this one. Events such as this, held by the Chambers of Commerce and other organizations of both countries, serve not only as open forums for discussion, but also act as podiums on which to advertise the country's investment potential. I therefore would like, in my turn, to thank all involved for making this happen today. I mentioned that the EU Zambia Business Council earlier. I sit on its board, and we recently completed a service on how European private sector investment contributes to sustainable growth and development in Zambia. I will share this report with the Secretariat of the Hellenic African Chamber of Commerce and Development to in turn send out to its members. It's a public document on the Council's website. I really believe you will find it insightful in terms of where we stand currently as trading partners compared to where we should be. In conclusion, I personally remain available for questions in this webinar, as does my office as Consulate General throughout the year. The invitation to you all to visit Zambia is forever open. So I very much look forward to meeting you in person in our beautiful country. Zikomo, σας ευχαριστώ.
Thank you, Mr. Krupnik. I wonder if there is any representative of the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry with us now, or we should continue. Is there anybody? Mr. Lovemore, Samson? I think you are participating, but you don't want to speak. You will answer the questions. Okay. Now I am moving to another member of our board, a relatively new member of our board, who is doing already for years now business with African countries, Mr. Nikos Papazoglu, the President and Managing Director of Farmex. And I want to thank him for the support of this meeting. Mr. Papazoglu. Mr. Papazoglu, your microphone.
Now it's okay. Μ' ακούτε? Μ' ακούτε τώρα? Everybody? Okay. I prefer to make after 9 years ago, we start to work with Zambia. I have a lot of things to talking about for this country. First of all, Zambia is 4 bigger times like Greece. The population, it is 16 millions. Second, the capital is Lusaka, 20.5 million inhabitants. State now, president democracy is very new president now, and I believe help us better from the old president. Health users for protection on needs to get only the yellow fever vaccine, which is now optional. The crime is not serious and depends on where you are circulate. The problems is the biggest problems in the summer period is the malaria. Just be careful. 5, temperature from September to March during the days from 20 and 38 degrees. At the night, it drops to around 20. The country's location and the altitude about 950 meters above sea level. 6th, invest environment. If you want to invest in this country, either with a local production of products, or you are in manufacturer, or you do make repackaging, then you enjoy the benefits of the investors. There is a profit expression for 5 years. Also, when you have official profitability, you send your profits whenever you want. If you want only deal with the packing products, namely, you all imports and sell, you do not have tax exceptions. This is a program start and change 4 years ago, because many companies, they make only trade, they bring the goods, they sell, and don't make nothing locally. For this reason, 4 years ago, this law changed. If you want to have all the benefits about the taxes, you must make something there, for example. So, if you are the first category, you are entitled to residence and work permit, and you can bring up to 5 foreign partners to the country with the same rights like the investors. Domain that one can invest in today: creation of the day house of aluminium or cotton, they call it. Second, the business now, it's available, eggs productions. 3, rent or purchase of land for what end? Corn production and cultivation of exotic fruits, for instance, bananas, pineapple, coconuts, coffee, mango, it's many. Also rental of mines for mining sacks, gold, copper, nickel, manganium, and some uranium and something else. 4, due the economical crisis, the sector of construction of houses, offices, is now frozen. There are many homes and offices for sales. The local currency is the kwacha, the name called kwacha. Inflationary tendency have created a major problem for workers. In 2012, 6 kwacha you can buy €1, and 5 kwacha you can buy $1. Today is €1, you need 21 kwacha, and if you want to buy $1, you need 18 kwacha. The peak was 5 months ago, where the prices were 28 and 22 kwacha, respectively. Wages have increased in the 9 years, but about 40%, and the salary of the workers are unemployed range from €100 to €250 for the highly educated. Other categories of occupation invest are the packaging of oil products, the deserts, cleaning products, for pocket products, all food and health products. The country imports 80% of the products they need for, especially for the supermarket business, of these products from South Africa, and ever duty-free, due to the economical zone to which both countries belong. Normally, the duty for goods going to bring in this country is 25%, and plus pay the same time, but 16%. Some products, mainly medical items and medicines, have nothing. A serious advantage is that whatever your product produce and packaging in the country, you export duty-free to the other 22 countries that belongs in the economical zone that belongs also to Zambia. There is a great difficulty in finding local representatives, while if you find Greek for cooperation, maybe you can, on the beginning, you start to work with them in cash cases. In order to achieve partial success, you will have to make a decisions to be there month after month. The majority of the local staff are not relative to the subject of the assignment, so they need constant and continuous training. In my case, which is a drunk, at the beginning of 2013, approval drugs is a period of 6 months, and the cost what was that time only $300 per form. In the period 2016-2018, deposit in their National Medicine Agency 5 new drugs with a new cost per form $2,000, and up to date, no license has been approved. In addition, they add also new fees of €800 per formant, each one medicine per year. This is for me is a big problem, because my business plan, I make that 8 years ago. If you like to make a pharmaceutical factory. But I can't to start to make it this business because I haven't many license for the medicine in our hands. I have invested only for medicine license $40,000, and I wait now 5 years ago to see the license. Without them, I can't to make any move to start to make factory in this country. But now I believe after to change the new government, they try to help us to continue our invest in this country, because on the other hand, it's a very quiet country, no problems. The authorities, they can to help us, but the smallest people who work in the special channels, they provide for us big problems. They don't help us. This is a big problem. Maybe the new government must be change all of these difficulties for the investors, because if you does not make that, they continue to find problems with the investors. This is my experience with Zambia. I love this country. I love also the people live there. I want to continue with them, but I want to see something to change about the delays of the business for us, about the medicine, a license, and so. And also, it's the best for the Greek exporters to the Zambia. It is to make only one way to make Groupas business and to send many people from Greece, many people that have business in Greece, the production is happening, to have only one destination, one people leave the goods there. This is the best way, after my opinion and my experience many years ago. I believe now also Mrs. Rose, she knows very well the Greek mentality, and she can help us in the Zambia. Thank you very much. If you have some questions, I'm open to hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Papazoglou. That is the hopes, the wishes, the complaints, and the dreams and projects of private investor in a very important industry, the pharmaceuticals, Mr. Papazoglou. Thank you very much. I see I'm happy to see with us Mr. Jerome Chabuka Kawesha, the president of Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and I will ask him to take the floor. Mr. Kawesha.
Thank you so much, and I greatly appreciate the invitation to speak to you. And it is my hope that after today's discussion, we'll be able to see a new approach from our business here to yourselves, so that we are able now to chart a new way forward. Yes, indeed, as you all know, we have a new government in place, and the approach and vision towards the growth of industry, participation and cooperation with industry has seen renewed vigor. It's got a strong political will, and implementation is key and cardinal in today's realm as we operate as Zambia. So as a business sector, we are indeed excited to work in an environment where there's strong political will, where it's easy and easier to interact with the business community, both local and foreign, and where the need to establish joint ventures is more pronounced than before. And we would like to encourage all of you to begin to look at joint ventures with Zambians. We have strong, viable, and supportive instruments through the Zambia Development Agency, who are always ready to guide us as a private sector in Zambia and are working with us on a daily basis to open up business across all economic spheres of Zambia, not only one area. Just before I upload my presentation, I do heed the concerns and the challenge that the previous speaker just spoke to about licensing and approvals, regulatory approvals taking long. We are happy to note that this has been highlighted in our discussions, both with the Zambia Development Agency as well as with the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, and a new ministry looking at SMEs and cooperatives. And we firmly believe and are confident that with the adoption and consideration of a single licensing regime across many economic sectors of Zambia, will open up and accelerate the engagement and clearance of foreign partners who would like to come into Zambia, and not only for foreign partners, but for the local business community. So if we ourselves in Zambia as a business community can have that level of confidence, we greatly believe it will pass on, and you also be able to see the milestones that Zambia is able to record. With your permission, Chair, I would like to share the screen.
Yes. Who will share the screen with you, Mr. Question?
Okay. Are you able to see the slide?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So in our submission today, we would like to look at, I would like to contribute on the disruptive approach and element that government has ably brought into, that we believe would be able to attract the growth of partnerships and investments between the Greek and the Zambian community in key areas such as agriculture, mining, energy, renewable energy, financial services, tourism, technology, health, and education, to mention but a few. You could see that prior to the August elections, and due to the impact of COVID in our market, we had implemented some short-term measures to keep the business community alive. And as we know, the impact of COVID is global. It not only affected Zambia, but it affected all of us across the globe. But to be able to sustain and ensure that the business community was kept alive, government came up with a stimulus package to support mainly, in particular, the small to medium entrepreneurs, import substitutions to shield off and protect locally produced products, as well as to support and liaise with producer associations. So we saw a lot of initiatives. And post-August, we've now seen that major boost and drive that has not only excited our business desires in the market, but you can see it has triggered a lot of interest from the international community. And we are confident that where instruments such as the debt management and oversights that the government is working on will be successfully renegotiated and managed so that where our economic, social, and business transformation can succeed. We are happy to see the Ministry of SMEs and Cooperatives come in. the Ministry of Green Economic Environment, and our own primary ministry, which has been there, that they are all looking at the ease of doing business, and the issues of licensing have been presented by RASA as a private sector, and from within public sector. They are very much aware about this, and we are confident that as they commence the drive for decentralization, which will now ensure that services are provided by local authorities from many points, it will allow industry, whether we are dealing with light manufacturing, whether we are dealing with agro-processing, whether we are dealing with greenfield tourism initiatives, whether we are dealing with grid or off-grid energy projects, whether we are dealing with new technology infrastructure deployments, telecommunications, internet and other services, those will be able to shoot from the districts right through the veins of our provincial capitals and into the main districts. So it is an exciting disruptive initiative that our government has brought through, and as indicated on terms of debt restructuring and the confidence and vision that they've spoken to, has brought about now that renewed interest from international financiers to come into our space. And we hope that parties like the IMF and the World Bank and others, the dynamics through which they look at the lens with Zambia has changed, and will forever change and be different. So we would like to be producing agro products that are needed in Greece, that are needed in your region, in the Mediterranean region, so that we can now be exporting a lot of agro products in partnership with yourselves in agro ventures in Zambia, in manufacturing ventures in Zambia, as well as promoting tourism between our two markets. We are extremely confident and contributing to the policy and regulatory reforms that are now under discussion, and we believe the budget, national budget of 2022, will provide for the appropriate funding where certain regulatory measures require some form of latitude in terms of funding to be effected. But you can just tell that all these initiatives, starting from decentralization, which is now taking us and opening us to develop Zambia from a rural perspective, from a peri-urban perspective, into the urban areas, into the regional market, so that we can produce from Zambia to be able to feed the region. We've got nine countries that neighbor Zambia, with Burundi through water, and there's a huge market of more than 250 million. And now your country is our neighbor too, because we are not landlocked, we are land linked, and now we are even linked by water. So our vision is continental. Our vision is to feed and produce global. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area and its related market has opened up a bigger market, that if we partner and set up in Zambia, you now be able to participate indirectly into the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and market. So it is important that we look at establishing progressive and effective joint ventures to invest in renewable energies, to invest in financial services and provide cheap capital in the market, tourism is open, partnerships are open, hospitality facilities are required in the country. So, and matters related to security in terms of land, so that you're able to partner Zambians, has been announced. And it's my hope that my colleagues from the development agency will be able to articulate in greater detail how government is progressing. So in my short submission, our invitation to you as a private sector is open. We have the strong will and the strong arm of government on our side. The restrictions are minimal. It's not something that we talk about in our market. For as long as you undertake and do your business.
Is Managing Director of Export Africa. Mr. Kurkutas.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for the invitation. Let me just load my presentation and I will start. So I don't know if you can see, please confirm.
Yes.
All right, so first of all, I want to say that I'm very glad to be here today, able to present once more in collaboration with the Hellenic African Chamber. I see that many good friends are present here today, but first and foremost, I would like to acknowledge the officials, Mr. Grivas from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Greece, Mr. Moussouris and Mr. Maniatakis, also the honorables, Ms. Rose Cheesy, which I have the honor to serve under as a secretary of the Zambian consulate in Greece, Mr. Michael Krupnik, and of course, my good friends and colleagues from the federations in Greece, Ms. Makrigiani and Mr. Hassapis. And of course, I need to say, above all, the glue that connects us all, Mrs. Zaharaki. Thank you very much for another successful event. So I'm here today to say just a couple of words because I know everybody is a bit tired. It is almost the end of the day for most of us. But I would like to share with you my thoughts on why to do business with Zambia. And since I'm dealing with Zambia for the last, let's say, 10 years, and of course, my good friend and partner in crime, Mr. Costa Kostadakopoulo, for around 20 years in Zambia. He's with us today. For all of you who don't know me, I'm the founder MD of Mr. Export to Africa, where we help companies from worldwide to do business in Africa in many, many ways. I'm very proud to be the secretary of the Zambian consulate in Greece and also advisor to many Africa-related organizations worldwide. This is our humble company. I'm not going to say much. We just help companies do business with Africa in a very practical way, and we are very proud of that. I usually start my presentations by saying that Africa is not a country, but Zambia is a country. And given the fact that we have to approach each country differently, of course, there are many similarities when we group countries like in West Africa, East Africa, and Southern Africa. And that comes from someone who, again, I'm very proud to do business in around 20 countries in Africa throughout the continent. We need to approach Zambia a bit differently. So this is Zambia. This is the map of Zambia. Mr. Chabuka Kawesha, which I neglected to acknowledge, apologies, Mr. Chabuka, mentioned that is a landlocked country bordering with 8 countries and through water with Burundi. That gives Zambia a very, very big advantage when it comes to act as a hub for foreign companies to invest and do business pretty much with all Africa. Zambia has around 18 million people, And right now, I think I'm the only one from the Zambian side who's not located in Lusaka. I'm right here in the Copperbelt province, in the third largest city of Zambia, in Ndola. So greetings from Ndola. So why someone should do business with Zambia? So Zambia happens to have an abundance of natural resources and manpower. And to be honest, these resources are highly underutilized. And the demographics say that 50% of the population is under 25 years old, and that shows us the potential of this country. It is very stable politically since attaining the independence in 1964. And I also need to acknowledge the founding father of the nation, as they say, the Nelson Mandela of Zambia, but I say Nelson Mandela is the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda of South Africa. And Dr. Kaunda is someone that made Zambia gain its independence without one bullet fired. And that says a lot about the mentality of Zambians and the vision of Zambians. So Zambia has also duty-free access to many countries in Africa due to the fact that it belongs to two of the biggest free trade areas, along with the biggest one, of course, that is I'm going to discuss a bit further. And these are COMESA and SADC on the southern part of Africa. So Zambia has a very flourishing, a very promising and stable at the same time banking, financial, legal and insurance services sectors of international standards, as well as a very well established and well-run stock exchange. There are also some double taxation agreements with many European countries, also North American, other African and Asian countries. That helps a lot when someone is interested to invest, and when someone is planning, this is a crucial factor to have in mind. Also, Zambia, since I've lived in Zambia for quite some time, is a great place to work and live. And I advocate in favor of what Mr. Krupnik said, to come and visit Zambia, because it's a great place both to work and live. It's a subtropical climate. People are extremely friendly. Most of them speak English, and the literacy rate is quite high. There are educational establishments up to university level with master degrees and PhDs. And Zambians are very religious people. They have very strong religious values, and that shows a lot for a nation, if you ask me. People are not reserved at all. The lifestyle is very open. Also, there are natural reserves, game parks, rivers, lakes, and the famous waterfalls on the southern part, Victoria Falls. So some of the opportunities that someone can seize in Zambia include energy, infrastructure, mining, agriculture, manufacturing, ICT, tourism, and some of them are quite traditional, but some of them are not when it comes to technology, and also tourism, which is a sector, if you ask me, quite underdeveloped, because Zambia is a wonder of nature, and there is a lot to promote in terms of tourism. But I want to indicate that the wholesale trading, which I happen to be involved, is something that would be of quite high interest for parties from outside of Zambia. Zambia has an incredible geostrategical location, can act as a hub for wholesale trading, serving countries around, some of them potentially and even allegedly they rely on Zambia in many ways, which are way less developed than Zambia. So this is something that you need to have in mind. Zambia is one of the safest countries in Africa. And after traveling and doing business in 20 countries, I need to say that Zambia is in my top 3 safest countries, both to live and work, but also to do business. And this map here tells us that the risk of doing business is quite low, especially from the standards of Africa. So this is something else that you or potential investors or companies you need to have in mind. As I mentioned, it's an English-speaking country with all these red ones. So it's not a problem to communicate, even for myself, that I don't speak the local language, just a tiny bit of Bemba. So Mulishani to all of you who speak Bemba. The corruption level is one of the lowest in Africa. And the new administration and His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, whose slight corruption that may exist, get rid of. Less corrupted country coming. I don't know if you can hear me, please confirm. Jenny? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm receiving some messages that you cannot hear me.
I can hear you now.
Can hear
All
you.
right, perfect. So Zambia, in terms of population, as you can see here on the right, it stands somewhere in the middle for Africa, and it's not a secret that the primary export product is copper. And what most people do not know is that the primary export destination is Switzerland. Okay, it makes sense, but when we first hear that Switzerland, yeah, it rings a bell of you know. Anyway, one of the biggest trading partners is South Africa, mostly for the fact that worldwide everything goes through South Africa to Zambia. So this is half of the truth. You understand what I mean. There are so many products that go to Zambia or from Zambia to the rest of the world through South Africa. This is a quite complex graph that, of course, you can study at your own pace and time when we share this and we email this presentation to you. It has to do with the trading of Zambia. Now, the Zambia's top 5 import commodities are mineral fuels, oils and products, and the distillation, boilers, vehicles and vehicle accessories, electrical machinery, equipments and parts, and articles of iron. And the major trading partners for exports are Switzerland, as I mentioned, China, of course, DRC, Congo, Singapore, and South Africa. And for imports are South Africa, China, United Arab Emirates, India, and again, Congo DRC, which is like almost 2 hours from where I am at the moment. I mentioned before about the connectivity and the free trade areas that Zambia belongs to. So the very famous African Continental Free Trade Area, which started like 2 years ago, still has a long way to go, but Zambia is one of the countries participating. And in the future, we'll connect all African countries, but because we are all in business and I want to always talk about the present and not about the future. This is a very interesting map of COMESA from Egypt and Libya down to South Africa, down to Zimbabwe, but Zambia belongs to COMESA as well as to SADC, which is this yellow area. So there is a wide range of countries of different levels, of different economies, different people that can be trading with better terms than just being an isolated country. I mentioned before the founding father of the nation, who once said that the West have its technology and Asia its mysticism, but Africa relies on the realm of human relationships, because in Africa, interpersonal relationships matter the most. So it's not a country that you will easily do business over emails, over very well established events like this one, which of course they help, but in the end of the day, you need to travel, you need to live, you need to smell the environment, you need to smell the opportunities. And all of us and all of you who may have traveled to Zambia or Africa, I'm pretty sure you're going to agree. I usually end my presentations with Africa is in your hands, but in this case, Zambia is in your hands. So seize the opportunity, ask for help. There are so many organizations here present, the chambers, the bilateral chambers, organizations, the Zambian side. So please don't hesitate and ask us. And of course, I need to mention our consulate in Greece. We are here to help you, really. So that was me, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Yanni. You made me very nostalgic about Zambia, but you never told us what airlines goes from Athens to Lusaka. Okay.
There are quite many, and not only to Lusaka, Mr. Moussouris, even to International Airport of Ndola, the new airport that was that started operations just this year.
I didn't hear it again. Can you repeat what you say? What is the air link?
There's a second international airport in Zambia at the moment that started operations just this year, and it's based here in Ndola, northern Zambia, where I'm located. And both of these airports, they have direct access to, let's say, Athens through other destinations, of course.
Very good, thank you. I hope also you gave us such a vivid picture of Zambia that I think if I were a Zambian, I would have you to be the head of the promotion agency for Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, that means that when a Greek who is interested in trade or investment and wishes to visit Zambia, including, of course, the tourist activities, I think he can meet Mr. Krupnik, Mr. Kurkutas, and of course, Mr. Kawesa. And from there on, he knows what door to knock. I think there are persons to whom one can rely for information because they live there and they know the place very, very well. The next speaker is the last speaker, Mr. Dimitris Loukas, the CEO of Value Right Management, Chairman of Hellenic Zambian Chamber. Mr. Loukas, you have the floor.
Good evening. I welcome everybody who participates in this important discussion in Zambia. As you say, my name is Dimitris Loukas and I am the CEO of Value Right Management SA and Chairman of Hellenic Zambian Chamber. Zambia is a very beautiful and friendly country. I'm doing business for the last 10 years in Zambia in the sector of business and IT consulting. Now I'm in Lusaka for business, and it's very, very nice in here. When I started to get interested in the sub-Saharan African market, I thought about starting with a country who were close to me. So I chose Zambia for specific reasons. It has a stable economy and a serious banking system. It has a normal political and social situation since its establishment as a free country. It has the right market size for a Greek company. It has a specific tax and legal system without problems. It's a member of COMESA and many other things who attract a businessman who want to doing safely business. Today, through my personal experience of Zambia, I will say the following. First of all, we have the Greek companies that are trying to export to Zambia to make trade. And the Greek companies that want to invest in Zambia. In both cases, there is a need for business planning. The most important for the business planning is the real information. In any case, in Zambia, there is the possibility for a company to find all necessary information that will help in first business steps. You need to invest time and money in the design, because Zambia, like other sub-Saharan countries, differs significantly from most European countries where Greek companies usually operate. The most interesting sectors to invest in Zambia are energy, mining, agricultural farms, private and public constructions, health, tourism, etc. Everyone knows that since the founding of the Greek Zambian Chamber in 2014, we have been trying to communicate both in Greece and in other countries of the European Union that companies doing safely business in Zambia. I want to thank Mr. Kruppen and the Orthodox Archbishop Ioannis for the help for all these years. At the end of this discussion, because everyone has talking about for Zambia, and I have to repeat, so it's not necessary. Many thanks to everyone who attended this beautiful and useful discussion. Thank you, Mr. Musuri.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luca. I see that Mr. Spachis and Mr. Makris from the European Business Council for Africa, which is an organization of chambers of commerce of European countries that deal in Africa. And the headquarters is Brussels. If they want to say a few words about EPCAM and the position of EPCAM towards the various problems and issues regarding Africa. Of course, I have not told you that before, so it's up to you if you want to say a few words. Mr. Spachis or Mr. Makris? Κύριε Spachis.
Με ακούτε?
Yes, yes, we hear.
Ακούγομαι?
Yes.
First of all, I'm delighted to have followed all the presentations and discussion and content about Zambia. And by the way, this only reinforces the positive image we have in Brussels about the business opportunities in this country, as well as the stability, safety, security environment of the country. And we are delighted that your analysts have ideas that are very much in line with our ideas. Now, for the European Business Council for Africa, we are interested, of course, across all the countries. So for us, we cannot say we privilege one country against another. But having said that, and off the record, I can tell you that Zambia is among the priority list of several of our members for similar reasons. I would like to stop on this point, and maybe our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Makris, would like to speak.
Thank you. Petro, you want to say a few words? No, he doesn't.
Probably not, yes.
No.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I want to ask if any of the participants wishes to ask a question and to whom it's addressed. Please, the floor is open. Any question? Any clarification? Well, it seems that the speakers were so good that they didn't leave anything that
Good evening.
clarified. I see Mr. Chisunka.
Indeed. Good evening, Mr. Sotiris, as well as team. As you can see, my name is Paul Chisunka. I just wanted to appreciate the platform that has been established. I am currently the president of the Ndola and District Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which John, of course, is speaking of when he says he's based in Ndola. That is our jurisdiction as a chamber. I will ride on all the protocols that have been set already out of respect. And just to mention a few points to buttress what was already presented by our president, Dr. Jerome Chabuka Kawesha, who is of course president of ZACI, and we as chambers of commerce in Zambia are all affiliated to ZACI. So that in itself is a plus to indicate to you that we have a very vibrant chamber movement in Zambia. And that should be a good indicator to the private sector as well as any investor that your best interests will be promoted and will always be protected. As you have heard, we have a new regime and it is very strong and supporting public-private partnerships. In fact, the development model that we are now pursuing as a country is based on the promotion of public-private partnerships. That means that Zambia is open for business and is embracing private actors from abroad. It doesn't matter if you're a foreign investor or a local investor, but the atmosphere has been well articulated and is conducive for you to have a presence that is established. But to mention also that the conversation can also be expanded to say that we are not just encouraging private institutions or, shall I say, organizations, companies, but that if there are a collective of investors in whatever form of investment vehicle that they may form, they are very much welcome into Zambia too. You must also be rest assured that your property rights are guaranteed. This is a unique feature for a country in Africa. We all know some of the experiences that some investors have been going through in jurisdictions like South Africa, not to cast doubt on our neighbor. But I believe that this is a positive characteristic that needs to be mentioned, and our president, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, is actually on record in ensuring the protection of property rights for all investors. There has been a robust review of the tax regime and a reintroduction of tax incentives in the multi-facility economic zones. So as you step your foot into Zambia, you may actually consider investing in a multi-facility economic zone. This is a special zone that is meant for investors where you will enjoy a lot of tax benefits. You will enjoy waivers on taxes to your profits for a number of years. You will be able to land various equipment and the like duty-free, along with a number of other incentives that would be due to you. You might also be interested to know that beginning 2022, we have slashed visa fees by 50%. So your cost of entry into the country has actually been reduced. And this is basically an olive branch, an expression of our willingness to attract international investors and to make it as easy as possible for them to enter into the country. For those countries that we enjoy special relationships with, and we hope that you are one of them or will become one of them, such as the US, there are actually extended visas that are going for up to even 3 years. And these are multi-entry visas. Apart from that, I also just wanted to mention very quickly that in terms of the ease of doing business, there is a very ambitious infrastructure upgrade and modernization, digitization that is taking place that was mentioned by previous speakers. So you are able to transact and to undertake e-commerce in your various sectors that you may be involved in. I must say or end with the words that Zambians are very, very affable people. And indeed, we do cherish relationships. We are very, very welcoming. We're a warm people. And I do not say this because I'm a Zambian myself, but out of the relationships that I have with non-Zambians, they have testified to this and they have endorsed the friendliness of the Zambian people. So rest assured, you will have a soft landing into Africa if you choose Zambia as your investment destination. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chisunga. Soft and pleasant.
Indeed, soft and pleasant.
And productive.
Very productive.
Thank you very much. We have about 5 more minutes. If there is any question, we can entertain. We want to hear if anybody wants something more specific. But
yeah,
yes, who is it? Jessica Chombo, yes.
This is Jessica, yes, from the Zambia Development Agency. As we are coming to an end of our very successful forum, I need to say a few words.
Yes, please.
Yes, in addition to the presentation that have been made from the Zambian side by Dr. Kawesha and John and Mr. Lucas, as well as finally Mr. Paul, there is no overemphasizing actually on Zambia being very prepared to receive investments, and we are asking the Greek companies to consider doing business with Zambia. The presentations have been very clear. Just to say that Zambia Development Agency has the huge mandate to promote and facilitate trade and investment, and also the development of enterprises. So we are here to facilitate your business as you consider making Zambia the investment destination of choice. I'm happy to hear from Mr. Spachis, that is looking at Zambia as a priority, and we encourage all the Greeks to focus on Zambia as you're looking at Africa. Zambia should stand as a priority. We are here to facilitate your investments. I want to say thank you, Mr. Moderator. I cannot mention your name, unfortunately, it's very difficult for me, but I really greatly appreciate a well-moderated session for this, and we look forward to more sessions in the near future. I thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Jessica Chombo. And
Mr. Mousouris, if I may.
Yes.
First of all, I think there is a hand that Mr. Koutsoukos has raised. I don't know if he has to say something, but following Mrs. Chombo's statement, I would like to remind to the panel that 2 years ago, it was December, we organized a business delegation to Zambia, and there were many companies that visited Zambia. If you'll remember, it happened in Lusaka, in Intercontinental, and it was a very crucial first big step towards the relationships in a business level, commercial level between Greece and Zambia. So we should not neglect that, and definitely more events live and online should follow. I don't know if Mr. Kouchoukos has to say something. Thank you.
Good evening to all. My name is Andreas Kouchoukos, the CEO of Device Engineering. We are involved in water business. I wanted to ask you if it is possible to have the information of all the people who are involved in this business opportunities, or the people who can act as the gate to contact and get more information. I can see Mr. Korkutas said that this video will be shared, but how can we contact some of the key people involved in this presentation? Is it possible to share that through the participators list?
Yes,
email and address or telephones or something like that.
The Hellenic African Chamber will be pleased to give you this information if you contact us. You can call Mr. Zacharaki, you know, for our number. Are you in Athens or where are you?
Yes, we're in
we
Athens.
are in Athens also, and you can be also, you can visit us in we're at the center, and we can talk and we'll give you all the information you need.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll be glad to meet you. Thank you. Is any other question? But you see, Mr. Kouchoukos, as you noticed from the discussion, there are some gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen in Zambia who can be reached. We call them contact persons, and we can give you information and advice, and also some ideas about the persons you should meet if you are interested in Zambia, either for exports or for investment.
I think just to say that the Zambia Development Agency actually should be the one of the contacts, because we facilitate all these meetings, and we can also arrange the meetings. So I've seen manager for investment promotion has posted his number and his contacts, as well as I've seen Kawecha. So you can contact any one of us, and we'll be able to facilitate your meetings and provide information that you may require. I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chombo. I think also Michael Krupnik, who is the representative of Greece, honorary consul, he can give you all this information if you arrive there, if you are in Lusaka. So, is there anything else? If not, I wish to say that Mr. Korkutas reminded us that there was a business mission in Zambia a couple of years ago, before the COVID. And I think when the COVID calms down or disappears, we should organize another business mission, because the discussion today was very interesting. And in maybe a year from now, we can organize something with Ms. Makiriani, also with SEV, as we have done before, and with the help of EPCAM, a mission to Zambia, and I hope it will be very productive and very mutually beneficial. If there is nothing else, I want to thank you very, very much for your participation. It was a very interesting discussion, and it is a discussion that is very promising for the promotion and development of more Zambian-Greek relationships in business, and also economic, political, cultural. I want to ask Mr. Krupnik to give to Σεβασμιότητα το Ιωάννη τα σέβη μου. And I wish to thank Mrs. Zacharaki for the preparation of this meeting. Thank you very much, all of you. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Greatly
Thank you very
appreciate.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Particularly the persons who spoke from Zambia, the Zambians, and Mr. Kaveso is one of them. And thank you, Mr. Kurkuta, Mr. Luka, Ms. Papazoglou, and all the others. And I see Mr. Zaimis, and of course, Rose. All the best, and we will meet again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a very nice meeting, interesting and promising. Thank you.